Hello everybody. It's Adam Kaczmarek from Modulit Solutions here. We are just about to start our online seminar about SurgeX, but the guy who is mastermind behind this webinar today is Martin from SurgeX. Hello, Martin.
Hello, Adam.
How are
Hello
you?
and good morning.
How are you? Everything's fine?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm looking forward to get our webinar done just to explain our solutions and
That's great. That's great. So, as you noticed, dear viewers, we are going to do it in English, but bear in mind, we will record the webinar. Also, the presentation will be available to you after our online seminar. So I will just send you a summary email with all the necessary details. Also, you can notice the questions panel. So use it. Ask questions. We'll try to answer them. So don't hesitate. Just use the questions panel and let's make it more interactive. Okay, Martin, what do you have for us today?
today we're going to talk about SurgeX, about our smart power management solutions. I would just briefly introduce our company because just to get your heads around where we are, what we are good in, and how we can help your business at the end of the day.
Yeah, sure. One remark from my side. Probably Modulit from more AV-oriented projects. And in AV-oriented projects or IT-oriented projects, we notice as a Modulit that there is a lack of power management devices like advanced management, securing the power, the electricity, having conditioning the electricity network, which can cause some problems. That's why we started our cooperation with SurgeX to add to this AV part of our business also the power management. We think that's a great addition for your projects, for all AV IT oriented installations. And maybe we'll share it later with you that the cost of SurgeX devices in terms of summary of cost of this AV IT installations, it's not that big, but having a peaceful mind about how the things works, that you can go into management, see if the power is working properly, that's priceless. So let's go, Martin.
All right. So I prepared a little presentation just to get you a better understanding who we are. So SurgeX is an American manufacturer since 1989, and we are part of the AMATEK group. I'm just mentioning it because sometimes it's getting a bit confusing with all the names. We're having for our EMEA business, we're having a subsidiary in next to Frankfurt am Main in Germany, and we are holding multiple patents around the world. And we are working with the AMATEK within the AMATEK Corporation. We're working in the business unit Power Quality Solutions, and we are co-working with two sister brands, so with ESP and PowerVar. In fact, all of this stuff is working for this AMATEK Power Quality Solutions, and we are not divided into brands anymore. We are sharing our knowledge, we are sharing our innovations just to get the best products into the market.
So all those brands are about power, right?
Yes. SurgeX is more in the AV market at home. ESP is offering also very good power protection and power conditioning, much more with large scale printers and industrials. And PowerVar is purely focused on UPSs on every vertical on the world. So they're starting with medical, IT, industrial, and of course AV. So that's why we're having our UPSs are being produced in our joint factory in America together with the SurgeX product. So there is the brand on the product, but in fact there are AMATEK employees working on it on all the three brands.
Cool.
Yeah, first of all, I just wanted to give you a short overview what we're going to see in the webinar today. So I wanted to talk about daily costs that we need to identify and lower them. Service costs is also a very important topic nowadays because the traveling costs are getting higher and higher, and we can help to resolve issues remotely. Then sustainability, we want to extend the runtimes of equipment. We want to save costs because you don't need to exchange the equipment so fast. I'm going to talk about use case scenarios just to get a better understanding how we fit in as a solution. We're going to have a brief look into our user interface and the capabilities of it, and how we are managing through software and hardware solutions. And at the end, we're going to have a brief product overview, just couple of key products within our solutions portfolio, just to show you what we can do for you. So first of all, identify and lower cost. The issue with power is we can't see it. So that's why we need to somehow visualize it, and that's what we are doing. So we are measuring and recording power consumptions. That's now a screenshot from our user interface. So first of all, we are making the data visible, and we're recording the data so that you can actually work with it, identify high consumptions, identify failures within the power supply. In addition to that, we want to lower down daily costs. So we're having very nice automations. We're calling them triggers, which we can set up to just switch on and off the equipment when it's not needed. Like in a conference room scenario, most of the conference rooms, they are not really used on the weekends, but all the equipment is just staying on standby and wasting energy, right?
Yeah, and the green energy right now, this is the topic all over the Europe. So I think that's
Yes.
important to have knowledge about the power consumption of each device we have connected.
Yeah, especially because of the requirements they are changing. So nowadays we are putting more and more equipment into the conference rooms or into our installations in general. And of course, the single consumptions of like an LCD panel, they are constantly going down, but we're putting more and more in terms of numbers into the rooms. So we are consuming more and more electricity and producing more and more costs, right? To make it practical, to get your heads around, okay, how we can do that or what's the benefit, we calculated a conference room. So what I've done is to put together like a more or less standard conference room with an LED wall, of course, with a controller on it, a camera, soundbar, a Microsoft Teams room.
With LED wall, that's supreme conference room, I can tell you.
That's true. Yeah, that's already a boardroom if you want so. And what I've done, I just pulled out all the consumption, and our first scenario would be, okay, so that's 9 hours of usage, more or less, and 15 hours standby. And the issue with the LED walls is when they are off, in inverted commas, so when they are not streaming any content, they are still consuming a lot of electricity. As you can see, so in this example, this NEC LED wall consumes 638 watts permanently, even if it is black. So what I've done, I just installed one of our products, the Vertica Series Plus, to power manage the whole conference room. And in a first instance, we just shut it off after 9 hours of usage. So the conference room would be only usable between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. And when we're just cutting away the standby consumption, you can see we're saving already 35% of energy. And I mean, that's a big one, right? Just imagine a conference center with 180 conference rooms. So that's already a big one that you can just, even if the conference room isn't in use, but it's switched off during the standby times and during the weekends, then we're saving already a lot of energy. If we are doing it a bit more clever, so not only time scheduled, But if we would install a control system, for example, a room booking system, then we could lower down the costs even more. So scenario number 3 would be, okay, we're having only 5 hours of usage, because just imagine 9 hours working day, so there's 1 hour of break, already lost energy. And if we would bring down the usage of the conference rooms to 5 hours, then we would save more than 60% of energy.
So you mean we can deploy an automation where SurgeX will power up the devices once receive some signal, for example, from room booking systems?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool. Yeah.
And then the technology is only used when you need it.
Yeah. Okay.
As a second asset, we want to lower down the service costs. As I mentioned before, it's getting more and more expensive to travel. So how are we doing that? First of all, we're having a lot of notifications around the power. So when anything goes wrong, we can shoot out SNMP traps, we can shoot out emails, or we can oversee via our cloud solution. And we can remotely power cycle or reboot the equipment. So that means we're giving the opportunity that when the Ethernet switch, when it's going wrong, then you can just jump into the user interface and just reboot it.
Okay.
Or
We can
I need
set triggers which occurs in some kind of emails, notifications, or even more advanced stuff going on with our
Yeah,
installation, right?
and then you're going to get notified. And by the way, I need to rephrase that. Of course, when the Ethernet switch is down, then we can't jump into the user interface because the network is down, right? So let's choose the media server, for example. We can just manually reboot it. And for the network, we're having something different in place. So we can put triggers in place, which are pinging permanently the Ethernet switch. And when the Ethernet switch is going down and getting software clocked, then our devices are going to reboot them automatically. So you have the peace of mind that your network is running all the time. And in addition to that, we're having proper power monitoring. I'm going to show to you detailed or a bit more detailed in our user interface, and log files. So you can after an event, end customer wants to use the conference room, it doesn't work, and they're going to ring the service technician. The service technician can jump into our user interface, having a look onto the log files, having a look onto the power monitoring, and make sure or find out if something went wrong with the power. Because mostly when the LED wall or when the big screen isn't working, everybody is going to blame the screen. But it could be that there is something with the media switcher, for example, that it is not streaming any content on the screen, and that's why the screen isn't working. We can find that out if the screen works properly from a power perspective, and then we can go back to the customer and help them to fix the issue.
So basically, we can do this remote checking of the powering of the power on the devices just using your interface, not
Absolutely.
just going there by ourselves and checking
Yeah.
the connections. We can do it remotely.
No need to jump in a car. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And with that, we are cutting down service costs, service calls, and more importantly, we're cutting down the stress, because when the customer wants to use the technology, mostly they're having an appointment, right? And when it doesn't work, then yeah, everybody is getting angry and blaming the service technician because it doesn't work, and he needs to more or less jump into the car and travel over there. And we are resolving that issue, that they can just jump into our user interface, have a look on the devices, just power cycle it, and reset up the room or the installation of any kind, and just make sure it works again. So also the time frame is getting way lower than driving somewhere because you're
Basically, the
nowadays.
basic diagnostic we can do remotely.
Yes, absolutely. The third topic would be sustainability, especially as I said, yeah, so the equipment runtimes gets longer because somehow on the vote situation, the investments or the investment times, they're getting longer and longer. So we are helping to extend the runtime of the equipment. How we are doing that? First of all, we are protecting the equipment. So we're having an advanced series mode surge elimination. That means whenever there is a high voltage in a very short period of time, we are just going to filter it. And that's also something unique we are doing. So you're getting always clean 230 volts out of the PDU. And that means it's protecting your equipment and extend the runtime, because a room PC who's being hit every day by 300-400 volts, it's in short term, yeah, it's going to survive, but in midterm, it's going to be damaged. The circuit boards are going to be burned, and then you need to replace it. As a second protection barrier, in our devices, we're having an over-under voltage shutdown protection. So whenever something really catastrophic happens, like a lightning strike, or even when there is a big inductive load, never mind if it is a big LED wall, if it is an elevator motor, an air condition within the building, that's all affecting your power quality. And when mostly everybody knows with big amplifiers or big LED walls, when they're getting started up, they're consuming a lot of power, and the power drops. And in a lot of cases, the circuit breakers will trip. That's only the half of the problem, because the other half of the problem is when the LED wall is running and sharing quite wide content, it's consuming, depends on the size, but it's consuming 2, 3, 4,000 watts. And when you're switching it off, it's a big load just jumping off of your circuitry, and that's inducting mostly a big high voltage, and that hits all the other peripherals within the power circuit. What we're doing in the background to even lower down the service calls and to lower down the issues is we're having impedance filters within all our products. So that's improving the power quality, because the issue is, and for sure everybody knows that, the service technician who is asking you, oh, did you restart it already? That's not an issue of software or an issue of hardware. In 90% of the cases, it's an issue of power, because there is a lot of noise on the line. So that means the computers, they are not working properly. The software is getting clogged, and you need to hard reset it. You need to pull out the cord and put it back in again.
So
So
basically, having more and more devices connected to power network affects the quality of power itself, right?
yes, so we are even in Germany and in my area, I'm living in the Munich area, even there, you don't get straight 230 volts out of the line. So there are always fluctuations, especially after we are now all changing to more and more renewable energies. So that means there is a wide range of mixed energy types within the power net. That's already affecting our power. And when you are having, a lot of equipment running in your installation, then it's of course affecting the power twice. So it's coming from the outside, is already quite mid-range to bad power coming into the building. And then within the building, we are also influencing the power quality. And to avoid that software is going down permanently, I mean, with every system integrator I talked yet, they all have an installation. Never mind if it is a conference room or a digital signage installation in a fast restaurant. They are all having at least one installation which behaves curious or which behaves strange. And mostly we're having some products in hand to track and monitor the power. So we are helping them to get their heads around, okay, what's the power quality? And in these strange rooms, mostly the power quality is not sufficient. It's not as the technical or as the requirements of the equipment would need it.
So because I was thinking about SurgeX, that this product is very good if we are designing it into the system. So we are using you are starting to implement it in a very early stage of the project. But you say this is different. We can use it in already working projects installations to found the issue and use your equipment to eliminate it.
Yeah, you can, first of all, when you're starting a project, as I said, never mind which kind of installation, when you're starting a project, we are having also tools just to visualize the power quality before you even start to install your equipment, so that you can just get your head around if you have already an upcoming problem with the customer because the power quality isn't sufficient right from the beginning.
Okay.
The next technology we're having in hand is an inrush current elimination. That's when you're having big loads, amplifiers, LED walls, whatever. The issue is, that the circuit breakers are tripping, especially in older buildings where the power net is it's more than 10, 20 years old. Then mostly, you're losing already a lot of power within the building, within the walls, and the wirings. And then just the circuit breakers are tripping, even if the technical data is sufficient. So when you're connecting something to 16 amps and like an LED wall consumes 15 and a half, usually from tech perspective, it would work. The issue is that the 16 amp circuit wouldn't supply you fully 16 anymore because the installation is quite old. And when it then just supplies 15 amps, then we have a problem, right? To avoid that, we're having inrush current elimination within our products just to soft start big loads, just to make sure that you're not having an issue directly when you want to use the equipment.
So not only using in modern installation, but also to help the older or maybe even ancient electric installations, right?
Exactly, yeah. How could that look like? I prepared a use case just to, get you a better understanding. So first of all, I want to talk about the conference room. It's a conference room using an LED wall. For an LED wall, of course, we would need some peripherals like a soundbar, conference camera, and a touch panel just to remotely control everything. And in the background, or behind the curtain, if you want, we would use, of course, network Ethernet switch, an LED controller, and a room PC just to get everything up and running.
So the room PC can be like an MTR solution, Microsoft Teams rooms, or Zoom rooms, right?
Yes. Yeah, whatever you want to, or whatever the end customer needs in his conference room. Could be any kind of room PC, because that's our advantage. We are doing power, right? So we are not connected to Microsoft Teams licenses or Zoom licenses. We are just doing power. So at the end of the day, we don't care what kind of equipment is connected, but we are going to take care of all of it. So we would then just take one of our smart PDUs and connect the LED wall in two different circuits just to make sure that everything is working smoothly. So this LED wall, just imagine it's a 4x4. We would switch two panels at the same time. And the rest of the equipment, like the soundbar and the touch panel, conference camera, we would connect with our smart PDU, and of course the peripherals in the background. With that, we could easily remote control everything. We could make sure that the Ethernet switch is not going down. We can start the LED wall properly. That means start first the LED controller and afterwards, one by one, the LED wall, just to make sure everything is running smoothly in terms of electrical issues, but also in terms of functionality. So that's why we would start the Ethernet switch at first, setting up the network, and then delaying all the other peripherals just behind it, just to make sure that the installation is working as expected. A second use case scenario would be a control room. Also, a lot of equipment, and they're working one or the other with LED walls or with single LCD panels, but it's more or less the same. We would split up the LED wall in different sections just to avoid electrical problems. So we would supply it with one of our smart PDUs, and to let it run through a power outage as well, we would also connect a smart UPS and supply the power from the smart UPS into our smart PDU. We would, split down the LED wall into 4 sections and switch it on one by one, just to make sure everything is running
But
smoothly.
LED wall is consuming a lot of energy. Is
Yes.
UPS even helps here to sustain the, I don't know, the energy for some time? How it works in this case?
It depends on the LED wall, right? But we're having a wide range of UPSs, so we can also cover big LED walls.
Okay. So we
Or
can see them together.
Yes, yeah. So and mostly it's like a double power filter. So the UPS will already cover some of the filtering, so it will give out clean energy, and all of our UPSs are double online conversion, so there is no delay time when power goes down.
Okay.
It's permanently online. You're getting permanently power, never mind if it is coming from the net or from the battery. And that would power up our smart PDU, and then we would first of all control or we would start the LED wall in a controlled way in a sequence, and we would also make sure that everything is working fine, that we would have an overview about the power consumption, just to I know that the control room is running 24/7, right? It wouldn't make any sense to switch it off during nighttime, but we could also easily find out if the LED wall got some issues, because when the power consumption is getting higher and higher, then the LEDs are getting worn out. So we could also do service or an advanced service, because the service technician or the system integrator, they could just have a look onto the power consumption, and when it's getting higher and higher, they know, okay, these LED panels, they start to die, so we need to exchange it to keep the control room up and running.
Yeah, I think this addition is great in terms of control room environment, because in all control rooms projects we have, they are looking for a lot of safeguards in terms of displays, in terms of sources or video signaling. So right now we can do also power. That's cool.
Yeah, so and of course it's power protection through SurgeX units, right? So yeah, we are helping to let the control room run 24/7. But of course, we don't have only an LED wall in the control room, right? So there are also a lot of different peripherals in the background, like network, LED wall controllers, camera controllers for external cameras, server equipment, and we would also power them through one of our smart PDUs, and of course connect it to a UPS, because we can't afford any data loss, right? So also these the servers and also the controllers, they need to run 24/7, just to make sure that the purpose of the control room is always secured. In addition to that, of course, we're having some workstations, so we would also connect the workstations to a smart PDU, just to maintain them, just to make sure that they are up and running, that we can overview the power consumption, and if something goes wrong, we can also restart it. So we could put in there a whole infrastructure of power management, and more importantly, protection, to make sure everything is running 24/7 every time a year.
How about more classic approach to control rooms, where there are video walls, but they are powered by standard or narrow bezel LCD panels, like 10, 16 or them are running. So is it is it workable for you? Is it just a matter of adding more outlets, smart PDUs to the system?
Yes and yes. I mean, it depends on the power consumption. We're having, in this example, I've chosen an 8-way rack mountable PDU, but we're having also PDUs with up to 24 outlets. So we could also
Okay.
run all the ACD panels from one PDU, or mostly in the control room, you are having a rack. So we could also, of course, we could add a second PDU just to make sure that we are good with the power consumption. No problem at all.
Okay.
The third use case scenario would be a digital signage application, just to show you, okay, we're working with power, so we could easily fit into a conference room, control room, even in digital signage. And what we've done here is we took one of our small smart PDUs and put it into a kiosk application, because mostly the kiosk in the self-service restaurants, nobody's maintaining them daily, because the people working in the self-service restaurants, they are working to serve the food, right? They are not interested in
Yeah.
maintaining the technology. And of course, there is no house technician within these restaurants who's taking care of it. And what happens with a lot with them, they're going down. I mean, everybody, I think, has been to an whatever McDonald's, Burger King, self restaurant, and mostly at least one or two of these kiosks, they aren't working. That's an issue for the service technician, right? Mostly they are selling service contracts, so they need to drive there. And in 90% of the cases, what they're doing is just pull out the cord from the kiosk, put it back in again, and it works. And mostly they're just being informed when a couple of the kiosks are going down, because the people working within the restaurant, when there are 6 kiosks and 4 are still working, it's more or less okay. They only would call the technical service when all of them went down, because then they need to open the cash register, they need to take the cash, or they need to take the payment directly on themselves, right? And most of the equipment running in a kiosk from an electrical perspective isn't really designed to work together with each other. Like the thermal printer is using a lot of energy, and we're having a touch screen and a mini PC that's more or less okay, can work together. But like the pin pad or the cooling fans, they're not really designed to work together. And what we are doing is first of all, with our filtering. So we are improving the performance of all these units together, because we are connecting them all together, and giving the opportunity just to get a notice when something went wrong, and then just reboot it remotely. And when it's up and running again and the PC is answering on requests, here we go, works again, and saved a lot of costs.
Yeah, in terms of service cost, great solution. So we can basically create a big network which includes a big quantity of this kind of kiosk, and in any of them will switch off. We can set up a trigger, and it will automatically send email to the service guy or some kind of guy who is doing oversizing this network, and he can do this basic stuff without even engaging personally the kiosk, right?
Yeah, he can
Cool.
even restart it from our cloud solution, just on the way into the weekend or wherever. So they with the cloud solution, when you're overseeing a lot of different kiosks, when something goes wrong, you're going to receive an email, and then they can just directly react with that. And in most cases, the customer doesn't recognize it, right? So it's just remotely being restarted kiosk, and when it's working properly, everything's good. And the service technician saved a lot of time and effort.
Yes, so some SLA agreements includes, for example, 24 hours or even 12 hours response time as a mandatory. So we can set this up. We can treat this management and remotely switching off and on the device, checking the power as a service reaction, right?
Yeah, and we also can even somehow automatically restarted in the background so that the service technician won't know that because there is a notification, but the customer maybe wouldn't really know that, because when we can also auto ping all the devices within the kiosk, like especially the network or the mini PC, we could permanently auto ping it, and when they are not responding anymore, we are power cycling it automatically. So the service technician would know it. The customer barely wouldn't recognize it, that the kiosk was down for 5 minutes and now it's running up and running again.
Exactly.
Yeah, so how can we do that? That's why I want to have a look into our user interface, because now we talked a lot about what we can do. Now I want to show you, okay, how we are doing it.
So this cloud service you have, first question, is it free?
Yes.
So there is no subscription, payments.
Yeah, it's free.
It's
So
come
we
with the
can
device which are supporting this.
exactly, yeah. So we as a manufacturer, we are hosting the cloud. There's no monthly license or anything. It's completely free because we are putting it as a feature on top of our products. So that's our user interface. So we're having different kind of connection to our products. I'm going to show you that in a while. That's now our user interface. So I can connecting through the network. I can connect on every single device into this web browser based user interface if the credentials are right.
Try admin.
I could try that, but that's not working at all because our products are 802.1 encrypted, and it's not possible from security standpoint. You can't connect into our user interface with admin.
Okay.
So that's why, I mean, there's a quick starting guide on every product, so you can get your head around easy, but how to set up the password. Mostly it's admin, and then it's admin with a capital one and the specific MAC address from every single product, so that it's kind of secure. And afterwards, when you're logged in, you can of course change the password. So what we
Okay.
can
So
see here, that's
what we are seeing right now, what is it?
the landing page. That's our power management landing page, running on a Defender Series Plus. That's one of our products. It's laying next to me, so I can connect it to it already. And as we can see, it's like a control, like a conference room scenario. What I set up here. So it's an 8-way PDU. In fact, it's a 9-way PDU, but 8 controllable. So 8 on the back and 1 on the front side. What we can see here, these are the switches to remotely control our PDUs. So I can, if there's something wrong with the LED controller, for example, I can just switch it off. I hope you heard the clicking in the background. And of course, manually switch it on again. So that's the case when there's something wrong. The service technician was called, and then he's just power cycling a device. So we can also the touch panel, for example, sorry, we can reboot it. So we can automatically switch it off, and after 3 seconds, it's going to be on again.
Okay.
Our user interface is highly customizable. So of course we can change the name. In addition to that, we can also change the reboot time. Why? Because a couple of devices, they need a longer power cycle time. Like
Projectors.
projectors, Ethernet switch, desktop computers, room computers. When you're switching them off for 3 seconds and giving them power back after the 3 seconds, they won't come up again because they are completely struggling into being power cycled. So we would just adjust the reboot time to 35 seconds for desktop computer should be sufficient, and then it would as you can see now, when I would reboot it, it's taking 35 seconds. So
Okay.
that's the first thing we can do here. We can also group the outlets. So when I have functional or devices which are connected in their functionality, like an Ethernet switch and a Wi-Fi router. I could group them. So out of the box there is an all outlets group, but I could also group, as I said, like an Ethernet switch and a Wi-Fi router, and then I could use them as a single outlet, and it's from software side and from hardware side, it's going to reboot or power cycle both of the outlets at the same time. That's what we can do, as I said, manually. And as you can see here already, there is some power monitoring going around. And that's one of our core values. What we're offering is we're power monitoring a lot, because we're a quite high technical company, and we're very interested in power. That's one of our core values. So that's why we are not only monitoring the line voltage, but also the neutral to ground voltage. As you can see, I got 230 volts on the neutral line, and that's, in Germany at least, it's prohibited. So there's something wrong with the wiring, because the ground is missing. There's something wrong with the wiring, so we can do already a fault finding. Average power, I mean, that's crystal clear, right? We want to know, okay, what kind of consumption we're having, also the current, and a couple of other very technical factors, like the crest factors, we are also monitoring, because we are interested in. Most of the customers are not really interested in the crest factor, but it is there. We are not only monitoring it, but as I mentioned before, we are recording it. So we're having a historical data section, where I can just choose, now that's the line voltage, but I can choose whatever I want to have a look on it, like the average power or the internal temperature, for example. We can just get our heads around, okay, what's the case, in which kind of power environment we are working.
Basically, we have all the types statistic for nerds.
More or less. Yeah, more or less. I mean, it depends on the customer, on the user, right? I mean, somebody from management, they are mostly interested in power consumption. So where can I cut down costs? But service technicians, of course, they want to have a look on the voltage level, if that is sufficient, or if the current is too high and permanently tripping the circuit breakers. So we are delivering all the data, we are recording all the data, and then the user can pick out the data they need. And of course, we know not everybody needs to know the full data. So yeah, mostly the user can pick out what they need, just to reach, at the end of the day, reach their goal. As I said, manager
exactly.
want to know consumption, technicians want to know power quality. We're not only recording it, but as I mentioned earlier, we're also working with the power. So we're having a trigger section. So we are calling that triggers. First of all, we're having a look onto the electrical parameters, like voltage. So there is an overvoltage shutdown. And just to let you know, that's freely programmable. So we can adjust the limits, we can change the names, we can even change the threshold. So whatever I want to have a look on, I can just program it in here, no problem at all. And then I can define the thresholds and what do I want to happen? Do I want to, when there is an overvoltage, do I want to switch off everything or enter the shutdown state? So switching off everything. Do I want to reboot something or run a sequence? I'm going to explain a sequence in a second. We have the same in here. There are a couple of triggers out of the box or from factory.
Yeah, I really like the one about network. I think it's kind of useful because the network is often down for some reasons, and here we can automatically restart the router, right? Ethernet switch.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned before. We're having an auto ping function permanently asking the Ethernet switch if he's still there, if he's not clocked. We can define the IP address and we can set up multiple of them. So if we're having a 24-way from us, we can even put 24 triggers in there. So it's not only Ethernet switch, also network clients. We can permanently ping them, and then we can define, okay, what I want to do with this IP address. I want to reboot, of course, the Ethernet switch. So it's going to self-fix the problem immediately.
Yeah. Question. Can we connect it with some kind of temperature sensors?
There are internal temperature sensors in every product. There are internal temperature sensors. So for rack products, for example, should be sufficient. And we are at the moment we're working on an external temperature sensor, which you can connect through the network, and then we can pull the data from the temperature sensor into all our products at the same time.
Cool, thanks.
That's already in the pipeline. What I mentioned before, scheduling. So what I can do is to set up just a weekly trigger or a daily or even an annually trigger, just to maintain everything. So I could every day at 1 o'clock, I could just reboot everything just to make sure that the setup is running, or I could, because network is running 24/7, right? Never mind which installation we're talking about. Daily at 1 o'clock, I could reboot or I could power cycle the whole network just to make sure it's prepared for the day and everything is up and running. Or
so how about situation when some devices needed to be powered all the time, like MTRs, because they are doing this updating stuff in the night, in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So how we can manage it into this sequence triggering system? What's your suggestion?
That would mostly be our network auto ping function. Yeah, of course, MTRs, they need to run permanently. We know that. So we can't help to cut down the energy costs because they are needed 24/7, right? But we can help when they're going down. When they're going down, we can power cycle it. We can also put the MTR scenario.
Correct me if I'm wrong. We can just exclude a single power outlet from this shutdown evening sequence, right?
Yes, you can program all the outlets in there, but we can also I can also set up a Monday, Tuesday up to Friday sequence. 6 o'clock in the evening, I'm going to shut down everything. But okay, of course, when I'm powering off the room PC, and let's assume it's an MTR, that's not fortunate for us. We know that. What I can do, I can also set up sequences. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So a sequence, we can use them because of two reasons. The first reason is electrical issues. So I just programmed a start conference room sequence that would just, first of all, check if all outlets are off. And then it would start the conference room one by one in a certain behavior. So not only because we want to avoid that the circuit breakers are tripping, but we would first of all start the LED controller and then the LED panels to make sure it's working properly. Next, we would start the Ethernet switch, and then all the rest of the peripherals.
If our room there is a projector, will this sequence take under consideration this longer time of booting up the device?
Yeah, we can. The good thing is we can freely program the sequences, so I can choose the behavior whatever ever we want. Let's just assume we are having an MTR room with a projector. I could just, first of all, I would avoid to switch on and off the room PC. So I'm just going to let it out of the sequence. I would, first of all, switch on the network, and then I can freely program, let's say 35 seconds. And let's imagine now the conference camera would be the projector. I could just give him 35 seconds, and afterwards I would give him 30 seconds to get it up and running. And then I would continue with my sequence. I would then bring up the LED controller, and after another 3, I would bring up LED wall panel 1, and so on. So I can really program them. I can give my room the behavior I want to. That means, of course, when there is an Microsoft Teams room, I could also all the peripherals which are needed from the Teams computer, I would just let it up and running. Just in case something goes wrong, I could ping it or I could ping the peripherals. But otherwise, or on the other end, we would just let it up and running 24/7, no problem at all. But the big peripherals, like the big screen or the LED wall, isn't really needed. So I could only include them into the sequence. And then what I can do, as you can see now, I added the sequence. I can program it into the triggers. So
Okay.
instead of shut down everything every evening, instead of powering off all the outlets, I would just run a sequence. And then I should have programmed a stop conference room, but I think it's clear, right? Or we can also adjust it to not a shutdown, but a startup sequence. 7 o'clock in the morning, only Monday till Friday, we're going to run the sequence, start the conference room, and we would
Okay.
power
So
up.
I have another question.
Yeah.
Can we run these sequences not only through this cloud-based software or based on the triggers, but also from external control systems?
Of course. So
okay, so we can get a command which we will send to your device, and it will run the sequence or the sequence, right?
Yes, you can connect into our devices on different solutions. So like the user interface on the cloud, or we could even use a control system. Like all the big control systems on the world were perfectly integrated. The drivers are written.
And the biggest grammar control?
Of course, the biggest grammar control. But we are also working with a couple of others, like restaurants and extrons of this world. But we are also maintaining good partnerships with all this control room or with all the control processor manufacturers, just to make sure that we are on top of things and that we are nicely integrated. In addition to that, the APIs on our products are all open, so we can also use a completely different dashboard to connect into our products.
Cool.
So how that would look like, I'm going to show in a second. So we have a look into our user interface, because our goal is to have the perfect solution for every requirement. Never mind if we're talking about digital signage, industrial, IT, AV, whatever, because it's power and we want to fit in every single requirement. And that's why we're having a wide range of software. I mentioned that already. So as I said, first of all, user interface. I've showed you the user interface. We have the opportunity to control everything remotely. You can connect it through VPN tunnel into the local network, everything good. But we know that there are customers who really appreciate it, like big corporate customers. But we know also that there are a lot of power customers who don't have the opportunity to connect into a VPN tunnel. Self-restaurant, for example, quick serve restaurants, or digital signage, when they're having some digital signage players and of course screens in a big mall or something. It's quite hard to get a VPN tunnel established. To get around that, we're offering our SurgeX Connect Cloud solution. And as I mentioned already, our API is open. We are working with all the manufacturers, and we are also always open. We're having a very good R&D and software. Our software guys, they are always interested in new projects. So what we have done in the past as well is getting integrated in other dashboards, like digital signage content dashboard. So they're the guys from digital signage, they're using already a cloud version to share their content to deploy their content on the different devices. So because our API is open, we can easily, our functionalities we can also easily be implemented into their dashboard. Or in Lithuania, for example, we're working together on a project where our products should be or will be installed into a shopping mall. They are having a facility management dashboard. They're absolutely not interested into buying control systems, right? Because they are not coming from AV, but they're having a facility management dashboard, and within this, we're going to be integrated. How does the cloud look like? Just to give you an impression what our idea is of a cloud solution. So wait, I need to. So this is our SurgeX Connect cloud dashboard. I'm connected now to it. And as you can see, we're having a lot of our products already in here. So I can jump into one of the products like the Vertical series. And as we can see, that's more or less it's looking very similar to our user interface. We just copied it just to make you feel home when you're looking into it. So we're having our landing page with power monitoring. We're having our historical data section here. We can have a look, okay, what's going on there. So the devices, they are permanently reporting their historical data into the cloud dashboard. We can change also the settings on the unit. We can rename outlets. We can group outlets. Power management, we can switch on and off the outlets. We can reboot the outlets, and we can also adjust it. And also the two important ones, sequences. We can run sequences. We can set up new sequences, and we can also adjust and run the triggers. So
Can we
everything
add like global sequences, which are working amongst various sites?
So with different devices, we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Mhm. That's going to be a feature. We launched the SurgeX Connect Cloud as a beta, as you can see. So we are still putting a lot of effort and a lot of feature sets in it. And our goal is it to, when you defined like a site name, like Conference Center mid of Warsaw, and you can then set up the sites and set up all SurgeX units. We are also we are going to implement the feature that you can restart conference room 3 to 5 in the middle of Warsaw Conference Center. So we are still working on it. We are also very open to feedback. So we're having test accounts in place, so everybody can get the credentials just to get their head around, just to get to play with it, because we are really interested in feedback and getting proper feedback, and then we're going to implement the features.
Right.
As we can see here, our UPSs are also integrated in the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
I can also have a look on the batteries. I can see the power monitoring in a more basic way. I can also power manage the units, because I can actually, that's a 1 kV UPS, so there are not 2 outlets on it. Actually, there are 8 outlets on it, and I'm switching on and off 4 outlets at the same time, because UPS is for power conditioning, for backup time, but it's not designed to be a PDU.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we are combining the clever stuff from the PDU with the UPSs in the background. The good thing is we can mute the audible alarm. Whenever anything goes wrong with the UPS, it starts beeping, and that's the time when the customer starts ringing the service technician. And first of all, we can remotely mute it already, and then go onto our fault finding mission and find out what went wrong.
Looks pretty impressive, so to speak, because we can manage. You have here like 8 or 7 sites, but the number is not limited, right?
Absolutely not. It's not limited. No. We're having already customers using 30, 40, 50 devices within it. No problem at all. Yeah, so that's an overview about our SurgeX Connect cloud. And I talked a lot about software now. That's why I just want to go briefly a bit through hardware, because hardware is also very important. There are a lot of installations where you're having racks, but there are also a lot of installations where you don't have racks, huddle spaces, small conference rooms,
or kiosk.
workstation installations. So that's why what we have done is to build an ecosystem with software. So you're getting always the user interface on the IP products. You're getting the cloud. You're getting the controls room, control system implementation on all the network products. And the hardware factors, we are having a lot or a big range of that. So we're having small form factors for a mobile application when you're having like a video card, for example. As mentioned before, small conference rooms, huddle spaces. We're having our power hub, our squid, to go into it. Classical rack solutions we're having for corporate AV or for IT. We're having rack solutions to maintain LED walls, especially because they are so power hungry and we want to make them working well. Kiosk, we have seen it already, right? So we're having a small solution for kiosks, but we're having also big ones. So up to 24-way, that's our Vertical Series Plus. That's a 24-way PDU. You can mount it vertically just on the backside of the rack and getting your wiring proper, and you're not wasting a lot of space because you need to put the wires somewhere. So you can tidy up the rack space, no problem at all. UPSs, as mentioned, just to secure from data loss, and that's more important than everything nowadays. And we're having also a very small form factor that's in the pipeline. We're looking onto end of the year that we're getting it into our warehouse to just for small installations like digital signage, 2 screens and a media player, or very small huddle spaces. So we just want to cover every power application, and you're getting the right software and the right form factor for your requirements. And we know that not everybody is going to use all of our solutions, because that's more or less not impossible, or that's more or less impossible, right? When you are doing only racks, you wouldn't use the standalone units for our power hub, for example.
So which one is the most popular model form factor?
It depends.
Yeah,
It
of
depends.
course.
Yeah, it depends on the installation. I mean, in a rack, it's crystal clear, right?
For AV systems.
For AV systems, actually, it's 3 form factors. So it's the squid, so the standalone form factors for smaller installations, for mid-range and also very power hungry installations. We would use a 19-inch rack PDU.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So as I mentioned before, I wanted to jump into products now, because we launched a whole range of new products within this year, and one of the products is the Defender Series Plus. That's 8-way rack PDU. As I mentioned before, it's 9-way. There's one IC outlet on the front for just for servicing that you can use power within the IT or AV rack somewhere else. And the Defender Series Plus is fully IP controlled. So everything we've seen now with the user interface and the squid, it's all on board. And mostly we're using it, in AV installation with medium and good power quality, and where you need full control and monitoring of the connected equipment. Of course, also installation with high demand on energy, like the LED walls, and network installations. That's clear, right? As I mentioned before, we're automatically fixing the network and then everything is good. How does it look like in a practical scenario. So we would use it in conference centers, big, medium, small conference rooms, whenever there's a rack. We would use it in LED installations of any kind. So never mind if you're having a small LED installation or, as we spoke earlier, a big LED installation in a control room. Home cinema is also quite popular to use it when there is a mid to big size home cinema. We're also using it in pro audio because these amplifiers, they're also very power hungry. So that's why we are sequencing them. We are starting them one by one, just to make sure from electrical standpoint, nothing is going wrong. Control room, we've seen it already, right? Unified comms installations as well. So we're also having projects where we're just mounting it, below the table. The second one in the range would be the Vertica Series Plus, also brand new product. We launched that this year on ISE together with the Defender Series Plus. All of them are now available in stock, and the Vertica Series is designed to save rack space. So you can mount it anywhere because there are brackets with it. So mostly you would mount it on the backside of the rack. Of course, when you need full control and monitoring. So all the different assets of the Defender Series Plus are included in the Vertica series as well. We're having a nice user interface, cloud interface, and of course the trigger sections and the sequencing. The good thing on the Vertica Series Plus is you're saving rack space. So that's why we can install it into conference centers with big and medium conference rooms, but of course also in IT and data centers. Most of these IT racks are always full, right? So we can save the rack space. And because there are brackets on the units, we are already installing it with LED wall installations as well. Because sometimes you're having conference rooms, there is a quite reasonable size of LED wall in there. Like from our example, a soundbar or even a video bar, and it's a Microsoft Teams room, but there is no rack in the background. No issue with the Vertica series. Just take the brackets, mount it directly behind the LED wall, and here we go. So it's not necessary that you are mounting it on the rack. You can mount it wherever you can fit some screws through it. That's why it's also already used for home cinema installations, pro audio, same thing, big amplifiers, in control rooms, especially the 24-way, because they're having a lot of devices in there. Yeah, so that's the use cases for the Vertica Series Plus. I mentioned it before, our small power management hub, the Squid. The Squid is a special product because it's out of the rack. As you can see, it's a standalone product. And the advantage of the Squid is it's aiming into huddle spaces and also into kiosk applications, because the advantage of the Squid is that it brings AC and DC power. So we are not only, as you can see, we are not only connecting 4 AC outlets, or we're having 4 AC outlets, but we're having also banks of 2 with DC. So the advantage of that is that we can get rid all of these small power supplies, because in every installation you're having HDMI switchers, you're having small Ethernet switches, and all these devices are coming with the small power brick. And I know that from a lot of system integrators in the field, and Adav, I think you are going to agree to me, these small power supplies, mostly the quality is not that good, and that's why they're going wrong.
It's not.
And yeah,
it also is nice solution for wireless presentation systems, which we spoke yesterday with Dariusz and Wojciech on a different webinar, and all of them have different power supplies. So with this one, we can cover it, right?
Yeah, because it's coming with in 3 different flavors. So we're having a model with purely 12 volts, so 2 times 12 volt. We're having a model with 2 times 24 volt. And in addition to that, we're having even a hybrid model with 12 and 24 volt. So we can even mix. We can also supply, as you said, in unified comms rooms, the video bar, for example, they are all running from a power supply, from an additional power supply. In addition to that, we're having 5 volt. We designed that into just for power supply. So we can also just mount the squid down below a table in a small conference room, and then we can, with an USB extension, we can just set up into a desk tank. We can set up a USB connection just to charge all the mobile devices we are going to need for our working days nowadays. So application would be, conference rooms, medium and small, because of course we are a bit more limited, but we are not connected to a rack. So we could also mount it everywhere. Home cinemas, so in the residential market, this product is well known and they really like it. Home security, especially combined with the UPS, so we can also oversee the home security system, the CCTV cameras. In smart homes, because as mentioned before, APIs are open, so we can also easily integrate into a KNX network, for example, just to maintain the whole, or just to fit seamlessly into a smart home installation. Digital signage, we heard that already, right? Menu boards, store installations, whatever you need to power. And that's it, So that's our squid. So that's, of course, I picked today only 3 key products. We have a lot more in them, as we've seen briefly.
Yes, and I would like to add to it that we've prepared special product matrix about SurgeX solutions, which will be delivered to our viewers after the webinar. So you can easily check the device type, also number of outlets, basic specifications, and which functions are supported. So you can easily go through this matrix and select the proper product for you. I will send it
in addition to that,
in email.
You can also always contact me. That's why I'm here for. So we're working very close as a manufacturer. We're working very close together with our partners from Modulit just to get you the right understanding, which kind of solution we can use. I'm always open to help. Just contact Adam or just contact me directly. And then we are going to figure out the right solution.
Yes. I have one question. It's about warranty, how it works.
Warranty, very good question. So on the we're having minimum 5 years of warranty. Because our product range is so wide, so we're offering 5 years of warranties on all of them, and some of the products, especially the ones with equipped with the advanced series mode with the surge reactor, when you have very dirty power, we're even offering 10 years of warranty. And the good thing is it is an advanced swap out warranty. That means when there is an issue with the SurgeX product out in the field, no problem. Just send us an email, give us a ring. We're going to take care of it. And when something is broken, we're going immediately, our partners from Modulit, they are going immediately to ship a new product to you. No need to return the old one. So just because we want to keep you in the business. We want to let the installation run. And we want to help as fast as possible.
That's great. Also, I would like to add that this product is good to show how they work, how the cloud or local interface works. So don't hesitate to ask us about the demo. We have the demo stock in Modulit solutions. We are able to provide you the devices. We can also support you with demo stock of Martin, obviously.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
What's interesting, if you have a showroom or a conference room which acts as a showroom for you, we are able to support you with better pricing for demo prices. Just contact your Modulit guy, Modulit main contact, and ask for the demo of SurgeX. We will come with the offer for you.
Yeah, and we are always supporting our partners from Modulit. So whenever you need something, especially, and of course, I'm very technical because I used to do the sales engineer's role, and that's why I'm also always curious to see new applications. So that's why, don't hesitate. Just connect the guys from Modulit, and then we're going to talk about the scenario and we're going to fix it.
Yeah, That's the point, because we have a lot of questions about SurgeX products, but people are still not sure about which product to select. So here we are helping you. Just let us know the installation, how it looks like, and we can help you with selecting proper solution for you. Yeah. Okay, Martin, do you have anything more?
No, I'm good.
Yeah. So you answered all the questions we have. So if there is no other questions, we are going to end our webinar. I hope it was very useful for you. And please remember that we will deliver all the materials, right? Maybe not right after, but early next week, you will receive the recording, presentation, product matrix, and some other stuff I will consider to add to this summary.
All right. So
can we start the weekend?
Yes, have a nice weekend. Thanks for joining our webinar. Adam, thanks for our good conversation today. And yeah, if there are any questions left, just let us know. And we are going
Exactly. Thank you all for participating and have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye, Martin.